I'm Mike Sullivan, and today we're going to talk about distance. Actually, for the next few videos, we'll be doing a series on how to add distance to your game, specifically how to get some extra distance out of your driver. All right, so we're talking distance. This is video number one. You do not need to watch these videos in sequence though. These are just a few different observations of some of the things people tend to do that rob them of distance, and some of the things we can do that really aren't that difficult to improve distance. So what we're going to talk about first of all is going to be really about width of arc. It's going to be about making a good full turn and showing you how flexible you actually can be. So one of the things that happens a lot is we see players, and I'm not going to be hitting a ball here, but we see players who, in their backswing, we see them very, very limited in how far they can bring the club back. And they feel like they just don't have the flexibility to get the club back any farther than this. And they may see a little bit of a reverse pivot, or they may break down their left arm, but this is where a lot of people tend to get that feel like they're just really robbing themselves of distance, and they really are. But let me show you what this looks like from the down the line view. So when I change angles, what happens is we see people, and by the way, all these distance things, they are definitely just part of good golf swing fundamentals. So it's not like this is something that's only going to help you with distance, but this is just huge. So when you see someone from down the target line and they bring the club back, what we would say too far inside the target line, meaning my shaft, when it's parallel to the ground, the butt end of the club is pointing out to the right of my golf ball for a right-handed golfer here. So when we bring that club back inside, as opposed to being on plane, we get inside. Look what my hands start to do. They start to get back behind the center of my body. And we see people with backswings where they get stuck back down in here. And they're feeling like they have a flexibility problem and they can't get the club all the way back. But take a look at something. If I can get my hands in front of my chest, now my left shoulder's got all sorts of range of motion, so I can get a much, much better turn. I can have a better width of arc. I can have a better length of my golf swing just by getting my hands here instead of having them stuck back in here. So if you want to do something, just stand up and grab a golf club, or even without a club. Just feel the difference between the amount of, look at all that range of motion versus back in here. It's amazing how much difference that can make. So here's what I want you to do. Get set up with a stick on the ground, and you should have an alignment stick. They're $2 at the hardware store, or you can put a club on the ground, right? And get that club going back so the club is parallel to your target line, or you can even have the club head a little bit outside of your target line. And from there, just go ahead and let those hands come up in front of your chest so you can really get a good feel for that range of motion you're getting. You may feel like, if you've been swinging back in here, it may feel to you like you've got to get the club up here. That's okay for now. And if you've got an iPhone or a camera, you can go ahead and put it yourself on video. That's even better too. So go ahead, get yourself set up just like you're going to practice all your shots. Turn back and get those hands out in front of your chest. That's going to give you a much, much better range of motion, and it's also going to give you a lot more distance right off the bat, not only with your driver, but with every club in your bag. So this is going to be our first video in the distance series, and by the way, you're not going to have to watch these videos in any sort of sequential